What if one of the greatest breakup songs in rock history was written with the ex-lover standing just a few feet away, forced to sing backup on the very words that shattered her? That's exactly what happened when Lindsey Buckingham penned Go Your Own Way during Fleetwood Mac's most explosive era. On the surface, it was just a hit song, but beneath the chords, it was a raw, emotional missile, aimed squarely at Stevie Nicks. Fleetwood Mac wasn't just any band. They were a powder keg of romantic entanglements, unspoken grudges, and musical genius. Their internal chaos didn't break them. It made them legends. And no song captures that twisted brilliance quite like Go Your Own Way. This is the story of heartbreak set to a drumbeat, and the price of turning real pain into timeless art. Before the Storm, how the band was built on unsteady ground. Fleetwood Mac didn't start as a pop powerhouse. In fact, they began in the UK as a British blues band led by drummer Mick Fleetwood and bassist John McVie. Their early sound was raw, electric, and deeply rooted in blues traditions. But by the early 1970s, the band was falling apart. Members quit, some disappeared entirely, and the future looked uncertain. Enter Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, a romantic and musical duo from California struggling to make ends meet. They had released one album together, Buckingham Nicks, and while it didn't make waves commercially, it caught Mick Fleetwood's attention. He invited Lindsey to join Fleetwood Mac as the guitarist. Lindsey agreed, but only if Stevie came with him. And so, in 1975, a new Fleetwood Mac was born. The chemistry was immediate. Their self-titled album exploded, selling millions and spawning hits like Rhiannon and Landslide. Behind the scenes, however, the emotional wiring was already fraying. The band was now made up of two couples, Lindsey and Stevie, and John and keyboardist Christine McVie. But rock and roll romance rarely survives the spotlight. Lindsey and Stevie's relationship wasn't just romantic, it was obsessive. They had been together since the late 60s, living in poverty, working dead-end jobs to support their music. Their bond was forged in struggle, but fame altered everything. As they entered the world of sold-out shows and luxury studios, their once unbreakable connection began to crack under pressure. Love, loss, and lyrics that burned. By 1976, the band was locked in the studio in Sausalito, California, working on what would become Rumours. But instead of peace and creative flow, there was war. All 5 members were going through personal hell. John and Christine McVie had just divorced. Mick Fleetwood had found out his wife was cheating. And most famously, Lindsey and Stevie's relationship imploded. Yet they had no choice but to keep working together. Imagine writing lyrics about someone who just broke your heart, and then watching them sing it back to you. That was daily life inside the Rumours recording sessions. Tension was everywhere. The band split into emotional factions. Nobody was speaking clearly, and somehow, that friction turned into gold. The songs became letters, arguments, confessions, and none more personal than Go Your Own Way. The studio itself became a silent battlefield. Producer Ken Kylat later recalled that Lindsey would rework guitar lines endlessly, sometimes out of perfectionism, sometimes out of raw emotion. Stevie would often walk out of the control room when she couldn't handle hearing the lyrics anymore. Lindsays Letter, the birth of Go Your Own Way. Lindsey Buckingham was shattered. The breakup with Stevie wasn't quiet. It was public, messy, and raw. He poured that fury into a song. Go Your Own Way was born out of a need to say what couldn't be said in person, the line that cuts deepest. Packing up, shacking up's all you want to do. Stevie was furious. She insisted the line was a lie, that it painted her unfairly. She begged him to take it out, but Lindsey refused. He said the song had to stay honest and raw. The producers sided with Lindsey. Mick Fleetwood, trying to keep the band from crumbling, agreed it should remain untouched, and so the lyrics stayed. Stevie had to sing backup on a song that accused her of betrayal, night after night. The irony? The song was a massive hit. It climbed the charts, got heavy radio play, and became one of Fleetwood Mac's signature tracks. But for Stevie, every performance was another cut. Stevie strikes back with Dreams. Stevie didn't stay silent. She had her own story to tell, and she told it through Dreams. It was written quickly in a small room with a keyboard and drum loop. Where Lindsey's song was aggressive, hers was ethereal. Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. The lyrics were mysterious but pointed. It was her version of the breakup, one soaked in poetry and sadness. She never mentioned Lindsey by name, but he knew. Everyone in the band did. The public, of course, had no idea. They thought they were listening to great rock music. What they didn't realize was that they were witnessing one of the most intimate breakups in music history, played out in stereo. And just like Go Your Own Way, Dreams topped the charts. The band's pain was now their most valuable asset. The cost of chaos. The making of Rumours wasn't just emotionally brutal, it was physically exhausting. The band lived in the studio for months, often sleeping there, fighting there, and recording there. Drugs flowed freely, cocaine, alcohol, anything to numb the constant emotional burn. Arguments would erupt mid-session. At times, members refused to be in the same room. They recorded separately or with minimal interaction. Christine McVie once said, "The only thing that kept us from killing each other was the music, and even that was held together by a thread." And yet, the irony of Rumours is that its chaos gave it soul. The album captured real pain, real love, real betrayal. It didn't just sound like heartbreak, it was heartbreak. If the studio was a battlefield, the stage was no safer. Night after night, the band took their drama public, and Lindsey, he used Go Your Own Way as a weapon. He didn't just sing the lyrics, he snarled them. He would turn to Stevie on stage and bark the lines with visible anger. Fans thought it was part of the show. It wasn't. It was a man yelling at his ex with a guitar in his hands. Stevie has since admitted that it was painful every time. She said she learned to compartmentalize, to smile while her ex raged just feet away. The band's chemistry was a live wire, and audiences loved it. But the cost was heavy. Their live performances were iconic but draining. Mick Fleetwood held it all together, the stoic drummer behind the circus. The rest barely held on. Years of reunions and reopened wounds. Fleetwood Mac broke up, reformed, broke up again. Decades passed, but the wounds from the Rumours era never fully healed. The band reunited many times, each tour a balancing act of old emotions. In interviews, Stevie spoke openly about how Go Your Own Way still stung. Lindsey, on the other hand, said it was just the truth, that it had to be said. They rarely agreed. In 2018, Lindsey Buckingham was fired from Fleetwood Mac. The reason? Reportedly, tensions with Stevie resurfaced again, this time over tour decisions. It was the final fracture. Decades later, their old feud was still smoldering. Their last performance together was symbolic. Lindsey played Go Your Own Way one last time, the song that started it all, the one that never stopped echoing. Go Your Own Way didn't just chart. It cemented itself as a cultural landmark. It's been covered by countless artists, used in films, commercials, and even political campaigns. The song's rawness resonated with people across generations. Whether they knew the backstory or not, listeners felt the intensity. And once they learned the story, it only hit harder. Fleetwood Mac's Rumours became more than an album. It became a blueprint for emotional honesty in music, and Go Your Own Way became a rallying cry for independence, heartbreak, and survival. Love, loss, and a legend in song. Go Your Own Way isn't just a breakup anthem. It's a musical time capsule, a snapshot of love turning into bitterness, of passion turning into pain. Fleetwood Mac's Rumours was built on broken hearts and brutal honesty. It didn't hide the dysfunction, it embraced it. And somehow, that made the music eternal. The band never needed tabloids. Their lyrics were gossip. Their harmonies were the headlines. And in the middle of it all, two people, once in love, now singing each other's pain. It's rare that a band can survive that kind of emotional wreckage. Fleetwood Mac didn't just survive, they turned it into history. And every time Go Your Own Way plays, you're not just hearing a song, you're hearing the sound of a heart breaking, loud enough for the world to dance to. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories from behind the music. Got a favorite Fleetwood Mac song or memory? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear your side of the story. And don't forget to share this video with someone who still listens to Rumours on repeat. See you in the next one.